Hey there, Rockstar. Do you see videos like these in your feed? How to make money fast. I built 3 $100 million businesses in 9 minutes. 7 passive income ideas. How I make $67,000 per week. How to buy a business with no money. When you buy a house for $0. Oh, that one was mine. Good video. True story.
True story.
I love money. You love money. We want more, right? Well, this just popped up in my feed the other day. Stop working. The money will come by itself. The secret that allows you not to work. The proven way to wealth. This video is about John D. Rockefeller. You heard of him? Yeah, super rich guy. This video took me down a deep rabbit hole where I discovered the ancient money rules the rich don't want you to know.
I need to know.
And there were a couple of really good lessons in this one specifically. Don't be afraid to borrow, he said, even when you have money. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? You see, just because you have money doesn't mean you have to use it to acquire property. He said, only the financially illiterate are afraid of debt. Richest guy in the world said that. More on what else he said in a minute, but that video, it led me to the Vanderbilts, the Carnegies, and then to the richest family ever, the Rothschilds. How'd they get so rich? They didn't have the internet, they didn't have ChatGPT, or they didn't have Deal Engineer. How'd they do it? Well, as the good book says, ask and ye shall receive. Actually, Matthew 7:7 says, ask and it shall be given you. And I'll be damned, the old YouTube algorithm placed this in front of me. The secret to becoming truly rich with Rabbi Manis Friedman on the Kosher Money Show. Really good channel. Go check those guys out. They're cool. In this interview with Rabbi Friedman, it stopped me in my tracks and opened up a new reality for me about becoming truly rich with ancient money rules that most have forgotten, or maybe they're just choosing to ignore them, or perhaps they're being protected. So whether you're flipping burgers, flipping sneakers, or flipping houses, these ancient rules of money are something to consider and will probably have you think at least at some point, damn, I've been doing this wrong. I watched probably 7 hours of video from a dozen or so different channels on the history of money. I mean, back to Adam and Eve.
Adam. Yes, Eve.
Through the rise and fall of empires, massive economic shifts, and learned the strategies that the richest people used to pull through and make themselves even richer. I mean, what they did to make it, what they did to grow it, and what they do to keep it growing.
Money, money, money.
And I've got, several pages of notes here. It'd take me probably at least an hour to get through them all. So what I did is I put together a short list of these ancient money rules that the rich are still using today to make themselves richer, a list that you can steal and apply to your own legacy. Ready? All right. So these first 2 rules have everything to do with just how you look at money. For example, God made money to get us to interact with each other, to meet people we otherwise would not meet, to get us to come out of our caves. I mean, if you go back far enough, and if you're paying attention today, money's immutable rules are really very spiritual. God's plan wasn't for us to follow the money, but rather follow where the money takes us. Because the only significant consequence of being rich or poor is that you'll meet different people along the way. Your wealth or poverty will take you to where you can do the most good in the world. And we will never be rich if we function as needy creatures. I mean, the only way to become rich is to function as if you're needed, and then do noble deeds for those that need you, and riches will follow. And that's a good question to ask yourself. Do you walk around leaning more towards the needy side or the needed side? I mean, there's some really good clues about your finances in that answer. Second money rule says, money is not the goal. It's a tool to accomplish other goals. It's not even something to accumulate, but rather to create businesses and invest to produce a better quality of life. Even retirement isn't something to look forward to, but rather being active and productive is what you're to look forward to. Third money rule. Start a business. Owning your own business, that's a money rule of the rich. And it always has been, because owning a business gives you control over the hours you work, the income you produce, and your own self-fulfillment. And it allows you to help others and to serve God. In the Jewish faith, someone who works for someone else their entire life is considered to have been burdened with an unlucky destiny. Elon Musk once publicly proposed that instead of baby showers, we should host business showers. When a friend starts a business, we all come together, celebrate them, and bring resources for their business beginnings. Ancient rule number 4, work hard, but not how you might think. Being resilient and persevering through the challenges of running and building a business can present, and recognizing that success is the only option, that's how most look at hard work today. But intertwined in the hard work concept has always been the smart work concept. And there are many layers to it, meaning each business or vessel that it was commonly referred to has its limits. By putting more time and energy into a business doesn't mean more riches will come out. Instead of stretching oneself to maximum capacity, stretch the vessel. Open a second store was an example. Spending more time and working harder in the one store when it takes you away from your family and life is not working smart. The bigger blessing doesn't happen with more of your time, but rather with more space that it's given to grow. And if we go down another layer to working smart, and this showed up as having the most to do with whether or not you become rich. Ancient money rule number 5, network. Make connections and increase the size of your community.
Network. I tap that network.
This money rule is as old as business itself, forming relationships and bonds within your community to where there's a strong sense to support and care for one another. Look after each other in the interest that each member of your community succeeds. An ancient money rule is to build up the people in your community. And it was referenced more than once. And it was here in Mark 12:31. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. And as you're taking care of your neighbor, as you're taking care of your community, it is imperative that you take care of your reputation. That's ancient money rule number 6. And this was in the Rockefeller story that I mentioned earlier. John D. was adamant about fulfilling his obligations, even if it hurt him to do so. And because he did, banks stood in line to give him money. A good reputation, it opens opportunity. The Torah gives good guidelines about this, written 400 years before Christ, to be honest and treat employees fairly. That's in Leviticus 19:36. And to avoid dishonest gain. That's stressed in the Torah, which addresses exploitation, deceit, and avoiding undue greed or envy in business matters. Maintaining justice in all dealings, including business, is a central tenet of the Torah. Ancient money rule number 7, be charitable. Charity and compassion, giving to the poor, that's a fundamental principle in Jewish law. And this was everywhere, in every period, in every region, in every faith. 10 to 20% goes to charity, depending on where you look. But the practice was universal and non-negotiable. It was a recurring rule over and over to give charitably in your community, to be happy for the successes within your community, to support businesses within your community, to encourage others in your community to do the same, because by doing so, it creates an environment that breeds reciprocation. And with that, the community grows bigger and stronger, thereby empowering the community to break into markets much faster because it's working together. Collaboration over competition. And of course, there are the ancient money rules of frugality, saving, and being a skilled manager of your riches, taking advantage of low interest loans to invest in what one knows, putting money to work by investing in real estate and business. These are all historically honored rules of money. But a prevailing pattern revolved around the importance of education and family, and passing down life's financial experience and wisdom to future generations to keep the wealth growing. And that's ancient money rule number 8, teach your kids. Money holds a prominent space in the lives of the richest people's families and their overall lives. And so it's discussed regularly. And the discussions, they start early in life. For example, the 5-jar system, this is a modern practical method used to teach children the historical rules of money about saving, spending, investing, and charity. And I'm starting this with my son, and it works like this. Each of the jars represents a different aspect of money management. First, there's the giving jar, where my son will put money to give away to help others, whether that be a charity, a religious organization, or a cause that he cares about. Second, the saving jar for the future, whether it be a big purchase that he's saving for or just general savings. Third, the investing jar. He'll use this money to make more money. Stocks, a small business venture, or an income property. Fourth jar, education. Money used for learning purposes like books, courses, school supplies. And the 5th jar, the spending jar. Money for his wants, the toys, the games, the Roblox, the candy, the golf clubs. So of all the ancient money rules that you just learned or were just reminded of, which one will you embrace first? Let me know below in the comments. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Take care.